Welcome. My name is Clark Korb. I'm a holistic health practitioner, and today I will be following up on the last episode about cultivating your beliefs, now moving forward into the next logical step of taking inspired action, which is in alignment with those desired and well-cultivated beliefs. And to make a distinction here, what makes action inspired? Well, just starting with action in and of itself, all of our actions that we take are following a belief that we have about something. So we can have the greatest beliefs in the world that support us, but beliefs alone are insufficient to manifest our desires or the kind of life that we want. We can sit on a couch all day and believe what we want, and it's not necessarily going to move the needle much in the direction of what we'd like to fashion in our lives. So the type of beliefs that we have govern the kind of actions we take or the actions that we specifically do not take. In addition to the actions that we take, beliefs really infuse the energy we bring into these actions. And so the same action that you have literally or on paper can have a very different outcome and the very different feeling that you have doing it depending on the belief you hold. So in other words, if you do something with joy versus a sense of obligation, or whether you bring a lightness to it versus a heaviness, or something that feels creative versus stagnant, or something that you feel willing to do versus having drudgery, a sense of drudgery about it, or whether you feel happy being in sanctuary or feel alone or left out. To cover some professional examples of this, take the example of preparing for an interview. Are you more focused on how you're being judged by the potential interviewers or the company? Or are you approaching it from a state of being grounded in the value that you bring to the table, what you provide as an asset to the company? Very different kind of energy. You might have the belief in scarcity that this is the only opportunity or the best opportunity for you, when in actuality that may or may not be true. If instead you have more of a belief that the interview is giving you an opportunity to kick the tires of the company and the team, the people you're working with, and really determining whether it's a best fit for you. So this isn't an entirely new idea, but it is a really important one in terms of shifting the energy you bring to the interview. Another example would be if you're on a sales call. If you're more focused on your quota or your need to make a sale, it has a hint of desperation to it, and people can smell that from a mile away. So instead, if you're genuinely interested in the needs of your prospective client or customer, that has a very different energy to it that you bring, even if you're using the same sales script. If you're meeting with a client in any professional field, are you bringing any charge to the meeting, whether it's related to the client or not? If it's something that is maybe going on in your personal life, for example, a belief about something that is not serving you in the moment, that absolutely affects the energy and subsequent actions that you take. A few personal examples with this. Some of these are probably going to be pretty obvious. If you're going on a date and you transmit desperation, again, people can smell that a mile away. Or do you bring a lightness to it? Do you bring forth an agenda like you need to interrogate or evaluate this person on a first date? Or do you arrive with a neutral detachment? Do you lead with a protective wall that's maybe reinforced by some unresolved trauma? Or do you come to the date with an open curiosity? Does your effort to meet feel labored, or does it feel more playful? This can also show up as simple interactions with people in the service industry or at a restaurant, for example. Whether you're ordering a coffee at a barista or you're at a sit-down restaurant, do you tend to bring an air of condescension like this person is serving you from a power disparity, or do you bring more an energy of parity and collaboration, as if they're helping you make the most of your visit? These are subtle distinctions, but huge in the impact they have on the people, and also, in most cases, the quality of the responsiveness and the level of service that you get. In all of these examples, what you say and how you say it directly follow from your beliefs in the situation, whatever's going on in context to the person or the opportunity that you're presented with, or just general beliefs about scarcity or confidence in yourself. So since these beliefs dramatically affect your action, the topic here on inspired action is to take action which is in alignment with those beliefs. And so how is it specifically inspired? Well, inspired actions, or anything inspired, is really something that arises from an external creative impulse. It's literally within our language built in. Inspired is being filled with spirit. It feels light. There's an element of spontaneity to it, something that just dawned on you, so to speak. It literally came from without. You're more or less a channel of this idea, this inspiration. And these inspired actions that follow from that are aligned with your internal beliefs and values. In other words, they feel good, they feel positive, they feel uplifting, they feel healthy, they feel supportive or nurturing of yourself or to other people. It's a satisfying kind of feeling. Ultimately, I feel like we could just generalize these as being life expanding. So what blocks us from taking inspired action if they feel so darn good? Well, procrastination shows up. There can be a sense of lethargy or low energy. And a big block to taking any of these inspired actions are negative emotions such as fear or judgment of yourself or other people, or a sense of hopelessness or despair. All of these negative emotions indicate that there's some kind of internal misalignment going on, some conflict with the belief that we have internally about the efficacy of the action that we're planning on taking. And these beliefs can be paralyzing. They can prevent us from picking up the phone to either make a sales call or a personal call. They can keep us from writing to or calling a friend or family member. They can prevent us from going out with friends or trying out a new social outing. They can prevent us from applying to a school or a new course of study that we want to take. They can prevent us from starting a gym membership or opening a business or starting a blog or a YouTube channel. So if any of this sounds familiar and you find yourself blocked or unable to take an action that feels inspired, how do you move forward from that? Well, first of all, you need to recognize your present misalignment. If there's something that doesn't feel good or that you feel stuck in this way, recognize that there is likely some underlying belief that's either dominant or in play somehow. And if there's some dominant belief that doesn't feel good, recognize, well, what would be your desired belief? And this may require stepping back or reevaluating a larger purpose or your why. Why are you doing or planning to do what you want to do? This might actually move you into an entirely different action plan than you had originally sought. So this can really have one of two results. Then you either change your present belief to support the current action plan, or keep the belief you have and shift to a different action plan. In whatever direction you take moving forward, it's important to recognize that, especially if there's been some inertia you're overcoming, it's important to start small. And we discussed this a bit in the videos on being in flow. I have a two-parter on that just for reference. If you haven't checked those out, there's a lot of relevant information there that applies here as well. You want to start small and move incrementally. Literally walk before you're running, especially if this is a new physical change for you. But it's important to change context with this as well. You might need to change the physical location from where you're at, or change energetic state, move your body a bit. And if that's insufficient, you might also need to change your mental state before moving forward. A quick thing here can be find something to laugh about. If you're feeling stuck or feeling not up to taking inspired action, do something that makes you feel lighter emotionally. Find something to laugh about. And then begin with one action to move forward in the desired direction. It's important to recognize that our moving forward in a positive direction can be broken down into quanta that are achievable. So call one person, or take a walk for 15 minutes, maybe read one chapter of a book, or set a timer for 15 minutes and begin kind of a focused mind sweep about a new business idea, or maybe the intended outline for a new website that you're thinking of starting, or writing the first chapter of a new book. Another thing that I found super helpful is just making one decision. If you've ever felt yourself in the paralysis by analysis situation, sometimes the one thing preventing you from moving forward or taking any inspired action is just not being willing to make a decision about something. Making a single decision can be incredibly empowering, especially if you might feel blocked in starting a new project thinking, I have to figure out how all of this works for me to move forward. And once I figure that out, then I'll be able to take action. Well, make a decision that eliminates where you're wasting some energy considering alternatives, for example. You can always change course later, but just making one decision can feel lightening and incredibly empowering in moving forward. And also understand that just like generating being in flow, that taking inspired action is a process, just like any other conditioning, similar to the process of building new beliefs. You don't start off deciding to change phase 180 degrees in a new belief, as we discussed last time. So think of it as beginning with a lighter weight or lower repetitions if you're doing resistance training, and that you increase the weight and the repetitions with time. The same thing goes here with taking inspired action. As you move into a direction that you've been resisting for some time, recognize the progress you make for even those small actions. And as you take those incremental steps moving forward, be open to capturing and thriving off of that momentum that comes just from taking one step forward. You've literally shifted your physical energy, your physical mass, your physical inertia forward. Same thing applies to any creative endeavor or a business endeavor. That one step forward gives you a little bit of momentum. You've literally moved out of static friction into dynamic friction from the physical realm, for my physics lovers out there. And this is the kind of thing that helps you receive or tap into or channel that unexpected inspiration that follows from this new state, this new momentum. So what inspired action have you taken lately, or what helps you move into a state of inspiration before acting? I would love to know. Please let me know in the comments. And if any of this resonates with you or is helpful, let me know that as well. If you know of anyone who might benefit from what I've shared here, please forward this video to them. And if you found some value in what I've discussed today, I would most certainly appreciate you giving the video a like, clicking on the subscribe button with notifications set to all in order to avoid missing future posts. These small actions take only a few moments to do. They're free, and yet they really help support the growth of the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in.